Mark your calendars because Jet Force Gemini is coming to Nintendo Switch Online in December. We don't have an exact date or anything, but we do know that Rare's action-packed platformer will be available to expansion pack subscribers at some point next month. That's cool news, but is this game actually worth playing? To answer that question, I decided to flip through the pages of Electronic Gaming Monthly, Next Generation, Nintendo, Power, and more classic magazines to see what the critics said back when Jet Force Gemini was first released. Get ready to shoot down a bunch of aliens because we're going into space for this exciting episode of Nintendo Switch Online Review Crew.
The bugs are coming, but not in peace. Jet Force Gemini. Control 3 futuristic characters. Grab some heavy artillery. Then splatter 120 levels of superbugs in this sci-fi struggle for survival. Only on N64.
Having already conquered both 3D platformers with Banjo-Kazooie and first-person shooters with GoldenEye 007, there was really only one thing left for Rare to do, and that's to combine the two genres. Released in 1999 on the Nintendo 64, Jet Force Gemini sees our spacey hero run, jump, swim, and even hang from ledges as he battles his way through a bunch of exciting and imaginative science fiction-themed stages. The combination of platforming and third-person shooting was definitely novel at the time and would later go on to inspire a number of other action games, including the entire Ratchet & Clank franchise. These days, the reception to Jet Force Gemini has been somewhat mixed, with some arguing that it was a rare misstep for the company, all while IGN called it one of the best N64 games ever. But we're not here to see what some website said, because this is a show that's all about classic magazines. Now, if you were expecting nothing but rave reviews, then think again. Much like its legacy today, the critics were a bit mixed when it came to Jet Force Gemini. But let's go ahead and start with Electronic Gaming Monthly, where it averaged a disappointing 7.75 out of 10. Shu gave it one of the lower scores, arguing that when Rare is in charge of a project, you know that it won't just be something small and insignificant. This action-adventure game is humongous, with lots to see and do. Buy this game for the single-player experience, but don't expect much multiplayer-wise. Even with a myriad of options, multiplayer Jet Force Gemini is really boring after a few sessions. Sean liked it a bit more, concluding that Jet Force Gemini doesn't have the kind of impact you'd expect from a Rare game at first, but after some time, it's easy to see what separates Jet Force Gemini from the others. It isn't without flaws, though. A lack of variety in enemy types, a flaky camera, and unintuitive control can get annoying. Still, it's another Rare gem. Of course, there were other magazines like Game Informer that agreed with Electronic Gaming Monthly's score, but most were either a lot higher or a lot lower. For example, we saw the notoriously grumpy Next Generation give Jet Force Gemini a score of 3 out of 5 and make the case that Rare would have been a lot better leaving some of this on the cutting room floor. Like a lengthy, bloated Hollywood movie, Jet Force Gemini loses entertainment value by exhausting gamers long before the mega journey is over. If this was half as long, it would have been twice as good. Without a doubt, any respecting gamer should buy this game to witness the result of Rare's Herculean effort. But don't even entertain the idea of completing the game unless you have the patience of a saint, and over twice as much time as it took to finish Zelda. If you're looking for the more positive reviews, then you have a few to choose from. Insight gave the game a 4 out of 5 in their first issue, and Edge found it in their heart to give the game a surprisingly strong 9 out of 10. That's the same score we saw from Nintendo Power. Scott made the case that it's very challenging and very big. The best pure action game ever for the N64. Kyle agreed, calling the AI the most tenacious I've seen, while Nate concluded that there's more multiplayer than you can shake a stick at. Now, if you're wondering who gave Jet Force Gemini the highest score, then you must be new to this series, because the answer is obviously GamePro. Giving it a perfect 5 out of 5, Air Hendrix explains that Jet Force Gemini is another fine example of why Rare is one of gaming's best developers. Spectacular graphics and sound combine with deep, gripping gameplay to make Jet Force a must-own action-adventure experience. You know, personally speaking, I found myself agreeing with Next Generation on this one. There are a lot of elements here that just don't hold up in 2023, and I think you're gonna find that there's way too much filler in this game. That said, the game is definitely fun for a long time, and it's worth a look, especially if you're a Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack subscriber that's been waiting for a meaty release. You aren't gonna get much meatier than this one. Hey, thanks for watching me break down these classic magazine reviews. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post episodes just like this one every single time Nintendo adds old games to their online service. We do the same with Sony, too. In fact, we covered 3 PlayStation games just yesterday. There's a whole playlist with dozens of these episodes, so give it a binge. Now, here's the question I have for you. Jet Force Gemini, yay or nay? Like I said, this is definitely one of those N64 games that a lot of people disagree on. Some love it, others hate it. Where do you come down? Let me see your thoughts in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back later this week with a review of the new Flashback game. If that sounds good to you, then I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.